I stood in one of the dingy alleyways of Ossex as the raindrops touched the ground. The denizens around me were going about their day as if nothing eventful had happened, or perhaps they were too good at returning back to their routines after a catastrophe. Just a few hours ago, I had my ship broken down and destroyed by a kraken, and I had to fight through a rebel army just to make sure that the premises were secure enough for me to enter the city. Houses were set on fire, and the whole thing felt a bit suspicious from the get-go, but I had a duty to attend to. You see, I arrived here because of a letter that I received from the Baron Lionel. After a brief meet with him where I witnessed him cutting the ribbons, celebrating the opening of a new orphanage wing within his grand manor, he set me on an adventure. A journey to help repair the 6 generators all over Tenebrous Isle. The generators that I, Mina the Mighty Mouse Hollower, had built 10 years ago. What takes place afterwards is a perilous road filled with obstacles and enemies at every bend, secrets behind every crack in the wall, and a lingering sense of doubt that remains with me throughout the whole affair. Sometimes it is a struggle to describe to a pinpoint precision what exactly I love about someone or something. It is not because I'm not aware of the qualities of that particular subject and I cannot articulate it, far from it. But rather I feel sometimes that the entire experience, the sum of all the parts, the tiniest of details that when spelled out might sound minuscule but when experienced firsthand feel important. That sentiment, how do you package that into mere words? You expect sentences to fully convey a feeling, but I'm afraid it won't be able to do justice to the overall experience. But hey, well, I'm still going to try. Because Mina the Hollower is that kind of experience, surely I can talk about the beautiful pixelated visuals or the gothic dripped-in atmospheric detail of the world it takes place in, or the outstanding music that pays tribute to a bygone era, yet somehow managing to feel so fresh and unique at the same time. Actually, the final statement I just made is like the perfect summary of the situation here. For how do you balance the ecstasy of nostalgia with the excitement of modernity? How do you balance so many contrasting creative reference points, yet manage to merge them into one cohesive structure that feels original? And how am I supposed to accurately translate what is happening underneath the surface here? Because make no mistake, while on the first glance the game looks like a tiny indie game trying to cash in on the aesthetic of the Game Boy Color era, and it is indeed an indie title, but one that is not trying to bank on any merit other than its own. And what an achievement it is in that very regard. Passion, love, creativity, and a glowing, resounding appreciation for the medium are the ingredients on which Mina the Hollower is proudly built upon. Jake Kaufman's masterfully constructed soundtrack, which by the way includes 2 tracks composed by the legendary Yuzo Koshiro, captures your senses, immersing you into a distant, decaying land with the excitement and nervousness of a dangerous adventure. The constant barrage of emotional and tonal variety within these symphonies is simply astounding. One moment it plays into the stress of the overall situation, essentially having a double role as it integrates itself with the world through embedded sound design. You know, the kind where the effects of fire, wind, and water are all melodically represented. During another instance, I was reminded why the chiptune music works so well for inducing an adrenaline rush. The noisy pulsations and the harsher sounding synths that I assume use a sawtooth waveform, it creates an immediate sense of urgency and a pressure to resolve the threat as quickly as possible. Then to follow all of that intensity with the sensation of comfort and peace, even though it might be temporary. It is brilliant from the start to the end credits, and when I got there, I started the journey all over again. The visual variety follows the soundtrack. I don't wish to spoil everything here, as I intend to write a separate essay talking exclusively about the atmosphere. Just know that it is done wonderfully. Each region feels distinct with unique presentation, story, and gameplay mechanics. There's a Mario-esque charm to each of these individual sections where certain platforming ideas are introduced only to be replaced by new ones in the next area. There's also a strong emphasis on combat and puzzle solving, mostly all of which leverage Mina's burrowing mechanic that allows her to dig into the ground for a few seconds to dodge enemy attacks or to use that momentum for a long distance jump. This is an awesome twist on the tried and true dodge roll, even though that still exists if you pick the hammer as the weapon. Speaking of which, I highly recommend sticking with one weapon for the entire adventure and then switching to another when doing subsequent runs, cause the fights dramatically change based on what you have equipped. I finished my first run picking up the default mace, which is literally called North Star, and paired with the right trinkets, I breezed through the entire game, tanking through each and every boss that I encountered. However, picking up the hammer on my second run forced me to be smarter about my movements. I had to look for patterns and openings for each enemy, which led to a much more challenging yet infinitely more satisfying experience. Well, without giving anything away, even the story explores some intriguing and introspective topics. It is far more mature than one would assume while judging this book by its cover. Hey, as I write this essay, which feels much more like a love letter now, I aim to close this with my own seal of approval. To clarify, this is not a review, this is just me trying to the best of my abilities to describe how remarkable Mina the Hollower truly is. I understand we operate within the boundaries of a subjective medium, and there is always a chance that this adventure might not connect with everyone who experiences it. Yet in that same breath, the most objective and undeniable statement that I can make is that balancing so many ideas and creative inspirations, then adding your own unique twist to them, somehow making it all work within a universe where every inch begs to be explored. Behind all of that is a work that can only result from pure love, passion, heart, and respect for the gaming medium. For that reason alone, if for nothing else, Mina the Hollower should be immensely and deeply cherished. I rest my case.